Woke up early this morning. I bet if I wouldn't have woke up early, this would just all be even more of a show than it already feels like it is. Hey guys, welcome back to the show where we talk about everything while simultaneously talking about nothing. Today we are going to be going over the movie Brave, which is one of my personal favorites. Now, if you haven't seen it, this will probably be a bit of a spoiler for you, so you might want to go watch it first if you haven't seen it. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. So our show starts out by revealing a cute little family out in the woods having a ridiculously lavish lunch. I mean, seriously guys, look at this. And you're telling me that nobody at any point during packing up this lavish picnic was like, geez, I hope we don't attract any bloodthirsty animals with all this meat here. Not one person thought to think that, no? Okay, moving on. So this is where we meet Merida, our main interest. Now, one thing that's different about Brave in comparison to every other Disney show that's out there is, we deal with the issue of having parents. Which is a concept that basically every other Disney show just yeets right out the window in the first few minutes.
Well, at least they have their parents. Their parents are dead.
Nosh on that for a minute. So not only does Merida contrast every other movie with the fact that she has both of her parents, but they're both actively present in her life. But she wouldn't be a Disney princess if we didn't find out sooner or later that she's got a real fire in her belly to pack up her whole life and move into a van and make things even more difficult on herself than she needs to. No, wrong movie? Is that My Life? Am I talking about My Life or the movie? Sorry, I do that. Now, to my knowledge, Merida is one of two princesses that actually is homeschooled. But then again, I guess if you live in the place that your schooling is, in this case, the castle, then technically you'd be homeschooled. So maybe all of them are homeschooled? I don't know. Why don't you guys discuss that conundrum in the comments? You let me know what you think on that one. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're all homeschooled. But I will say, being a former homeschooler myself, this is just what everyone seems to think homeschooling is about. And I'll be honest. So pretty soon, Em and her mom have the talk. And this is pretty much the whole catalyst for the rest of our movie. It's also where we learn that the movie would be over in 5 minutes if they just had the conversation between the two people that actually needed to talk to each other. Conflict resolution comes from communication. So because Merida wants to be all I'm a woman, we are brought to our favorite part of the show. Ye olden dating. Back before Tinder, or Hinge, or Bumble, we bring you the show that started it all. The show where we show you 3 eligible suitors and let you believe you have a say in the matter. So before we decide the outcome for you based on the most shallow of things, their ability to play sports. Which suitor do you choose? So in all honesty, younger me would have totally wanted to pull a Merida here and be like, no, I'll be shooting from my own hand. I'm like my own woman. Probably wouldn't actually do it though, because I was really shy as a kid. Now I'm no, I wouldn't even do that. I'd be if anybody wants to compete in the single Pringle contest for me, I would probably be Now, I'm sure you all know, and some of you are already kind of yelling at me through your screen, Merida's not the only princess to ever say no, I don't need a man. But to my knowledge, she is the first princess to actually do something about it in a way that, albeit a gray area, was legal and respectable in some form or fashion. I mean, sure, she totally broke a crap ton of rules, worked on years of tradition, exposed some underarm, corset, and side boob, royally pissed off her mom, and bruised some egos, but she didn't just run away. Oh. Well, I guess she did that next. So after being thrown from her horse from her valiant runaway bride situation, she sees some glowing blue pollen in the woods and is like, huh, I'm totally gonna follow that. and she just follows them right to her death. Oh, I'm sorry, different show. Like for real though, in actual real life, if you saw one of those little blue floaty orb things, like would you follow it? Because I wouldn't follow it. I'd be like, yeah, no. And I would probably back myself back up to my horse, get on said horse, assuming in this real life situation that there are blue floaty orbs and that I can actually ride a horse. But like, yeah, I'd be back on that horse and I'd be hightailing it out of there, like looking behind me the entire time, hoping that like the ghost light.
The ghost light!
So continuing on our story arc journey, we meet a witch in the woods.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
And no. And Merida like literally takes candy from a stranger here and then feeds it to her mom, because that's normal behavior. So Merida's just another teenage girl who, needs to grow up and has to learn, like we all do at some point, that her actions actually have consequences. And in her case, like they're pretty serious consequences. Like she could have killed her mom. Let that sink in. She could have killed her. Like, I know she asked for a spell to change her mom, but like, what? She didn't know what she was giving her. Like, you can't do that. But whatever, it happens, and mom turns into a bear. Anyway, Merida and her mom figure out that, they gotta do something because, like...
What are you doing? Dad, the Bear King? If he so much as sees you, you're dead.
Foreshadowing. So Merida and her mom run off into the woods and totally live like off the grid, like Girl Scout style for a little while. And then this happens. It's a butt, it's a butt, it's a butt, 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 it's a butt, it's a butt, it's a butt, 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 it's a butt, it's a butt, it's a butt, 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 it's a butt, it's a butt, butt, butt.
Well, that's just grand now, isn't it?
Seriously, Disney did not like censor this movie, like at all. But back to serious. So if I'm being completely honest here, like I think this movie is great in showing like that teenage rebellion stage when like you're growing up and you just want to be your own person and figure out your own things and make your own way in the world. It's also a good time to like kind of go over all the, emotional overload, hormonal changes, brain fog, that time that we all go through. And it gets really weird there for a little while. And we come out of it on the other side and we're like, what just happened? You know what I'm talking about. Starts with a P. Happens to both genders. I feel like we all kind of go through the similar phase while we're growing up, and it just gets really weird there for a while and everyone's fighting with their parents. Like I remember the shift from when I saw my parents as my parents to when I saw them as their own individual people. And I was like, oh wait, they have lives too. Like they're really cool. It's kind of like when you're like really, really young and then you find out like your mom's name isn't Mom. And like your whole mind is just like, what? There's another layer to this person? That happens. I feel like everyone kind of goes through that stage at one point or another, hopefully with their parents. If you haven't gone through that yet, parents might actually be cool people. I don't know. Truthfully, I'm impressed with the strong ending of this movie. What's interesting to me here is the fact that just because they may have solved their issues before the second sunrise, the action of her being like healed or permanent, healed or cursed, I should say, we weren't gonna know until the second sunrise. So that part I did appreciate and I liked it. And I honestly did get a little worried that we were gonna hit like the whole tears can save you trope. And I was like, please don't go there. Because I didn't want this whole wonderful movie with all these other great points and things and people working through their crap to be like, oh, I shed a tear and now everything's all better. So both characters had to have a change of heart.
Fate be changed, look inside, mend the bond torn by pride.
And it's really obvious to see Merida's mom change Eleanor. It's easy to see her change in like when they're in the hall and she's supposed to be going up the stairs and she's not going up the stairs and she's just standing there like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of my daughter, I love her so much, but it's to go up the stairs. Anyway, that may or may not have been my least favorite part of this movie. But anyhow, Yeah, so they do like the whole like cute speech thing, and mom gets to take a second to see like Merida is learning from her, and you know, she is becoming a young adult, and you know, she did a good job as a parent. They both did. I mean, they're both parenting together, and you know what? I think it's great. Merida's change, we'll say it's a little more gradual. Like she's going through all these different things. But I think the symbolism of Merida like grabbing the tapestry and ripping it off the wall and like trying to sew it up on the horse while she's like running to her mom's aid, which is just like the worst situation to try to sew in. I don't care if you know how to sew, like it's not gonna be very good. But regardless of that, she's doing the best she can, and she's really, really trying. And I think that says a lot. Because I think one of the things with consequences is you need to remember that like most times in life, when you break something, like you can never really get it to go back together the same way. It's always going to be different, but that doesn't mean like you can't turn it into something beautiful or, you know, make something beautiful from it. So like, yeah, they worked out their differences, but like, I think it's important to note that they never stopped loving each other throughout the entire movie. Like they were always trying to take care of each other. I don't feel like there was ever any malice in anyone's heart in this show, which is great because we're not following the evil just to be evil trope. And I think that's great. It's like we got away from that, and it's like, you know what, our biggest enemy sometimes can be ourselves, and you know what, our anger and our inability to like sit down and think through something and be like, no, I'm gonna handle it this way. And like I said, guys, this is like one of my favorite Disney movies, so I'm trying not to be biased, and I did try to like pick stuff out in the actual like storyline that was bad, but I really had a hard time with it. And like there's other shows I watch and I'm like, but yeah, overall I think Brave was really good. And I mean, I told you all the reasons I think so. So let me know what you think, throw your thoughts in the comments down below. And guys, if you made it to the end of the video, why don't we throw like a bear emoji down in the comments so I know you made it this far. And until next time, peace.